You are listening to a podcast of the Geek IO Media Network. For all of our shows and more, visit geek-io.net. And to help support the network,
Shut
head
up,
over
Dale.
to patreon.com/geekio.
Hello, gentlemen. While Geek IO holds its talent to the highest standards, what follows will likely involve the sort of language usually reserved for sailors on leave. If you're of a delicate disposition, then perhaps you would consider a different podcast.
I swear to God, we just returned the call. Now, but there are forces today.
Jazz, why?
There was an elf woman. She owned one, right? Oh, it must have been her. She's not a very nice lady, dressed very well, like you. But she's a terrible woman. She served the Dark Lord. Nick, I knew it. Let them ask us they questions. Didn't know this stuff.
Let him
ask us was an angel.
questions.
All right, and that was then when the gadget was chasing us.
The context is a little off.
This is the Geek IO Rant and Review with your hosts, CJ, Rachel, Raul, Gary, Josh, Jared, and everyone's favorite Aussie, Dale Campbell. This week, bad thoughts. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? We're gonna rant and review. Right.
That's right. It's time, friends.
Romans, countrymen.
Orcans, country orcs, country elves. Lend us your pointy ears because it is time for the Geek IO show, episode number 231. Our rant and fucking review of fucking bright fucking.
Fuck, fuckity, fuck.
I am CJ Glowy Pool Boat.
I'm totally paying attention right now. No, that's it.
I thought this. I'm Carrie. Wish I could channel Lee Pace as well as that one guy, Wilcox.
And I'm Josh.
And I'm Rachel, and I'm only talking in English because I trust you now.
Oh,
English, the language of trust. Just ask the Native Americans.
And I am Charles. Spotted dick isn't just for kids. McFall.
Oh!
Oh, welcome back, Charles.
Thank you.
Charles, if you guys, not Jared.
It's good to be back. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, man.
I think I'm ready for a fight because I know what we're going to be talking about tonight, and it didn't seem like you guys enjoyed it as much as maybe I did.
So it was a fucking movie.
I just had flashbacks that were a little uncomfortable.
Hey, I just have one point to raise at the start.
Sure.
It's not Sausage Party.
Yes, no.
This is true.
Turns out, right, it's not Sausage Party. Turns out.
Yeah, definitely not Sausage Party. But it is bright. Before we get on going, short disclaimer because 2017 revealed everybody everywhere to be a dick. Yes, we know this is a not Nick Landis. Fuck, I'm sorry. Fucking
Max Landis.
Max Landis. I am so sorry. I know who Nick Landis is. I am so sorry.
Nick Landis is an awesome person.
Yes, he is. He is a fantastic person. This is a Max Landis joint. Yes, he is a giant douchebag, but separate the art from the artist just this once. Also, we've been talking about doing this for a hot minute.
Yeah, basically what he did is not okay, but we still want to acknowledge the hard work other people put into this movie.
Well, work that other people put into this movie. They got paid for this movie. This is bright. This is a Netflix exclusive from last year. New movie synopsis from IMDb is simply movie synopsis according to Dale.
Man, I'm not sharp tonight at all. Like, I have not with that.
You're not feeling very bright?
I'm not feeling very bright. I'm just gonna grab my wand and go home.
Shade at poor Dale.
Grab my wand and go home.
So
Now, Dale, we've talked to you about grabbing your wand in front of other people.
that's against the
That's what gets you kicked out of movie theaters.
As long as it's not dripping.
And casinos at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, it turns out people grabbing their wands in the women's
There's
restroom.
another 3 a.m.? Why is nobody telling me this?
There's always a bad drunk Dale 3 a.m. story anywhere I go in the world.
It's fantastic.
Anywhere.
I don't know if it's bad. I mean, you're using bad.
I don't know. Some of them are pretty good, actually.
Speaking of bad and sometimes pretty good, this is Bright. It's on Netflix exclusive. Set in a world where fantasy creatures live side by side with humans, a human cop is forced to work with an orc to find a weapon everyone is prepared to kill for. This came out the Christmas movie the last year, 22nd December 2017. We had Will Smith as Daryl Ward, Joel Edgerton as Neil Jacoby, Numi Rapantz as Layla, or as I called her, Masala, because Tika's her friend, so Tika Masala. Edgar Ramirez as Kendamir.
As Edgar Ramirez.
As Edgar Ramirez.
That's because that name never came up once. That's my first note. That name never came up in the movie.
No.
Nope.
Lucy Fly, going from adorable mermaid to creepy elf lady is Tika. And Veronica Kikoho is Tien. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong about the Kikoho, but I believe that's actually pronounced no.
No.
Fuck all these pronunciations. Just fuck this.
Tien and no do not sound or look anything alike.
You're right. No.
Veronica, no. NGO.
Oh, what did he say?
No. Like, fuck no. Like, fuck.
This movie had a budget of $90 million and it's the most expensive Netflix movie investment to date. Sold the script.
Hey, it's a lot better than this, which I'm putting in chat, which is pronounced win.
Yeah, Nguyen. Yeah, Nguyen.
Nguyen, yeah.
Vietnamese names are weird.
They are. Max Landis sold the script for $3.5 million. First Netflix original movie to have a sequel. The deal for the second movie was signed before the first film was released. This is the second collaboration between Will Smith, Ike Barinholtz, Jay Hernandez, and David Ayer after Suicide Squad. In the strip club, a woman is seen blinking a
nictitating membrane.
Nictitating membrane. That's when you shock a person named Nick. A third eyelid seen in some reptiles, sharks, and birds. Will Smith's character in Men in Black, as an NYPD cop, sees the same blinking happen on an alien he's pursuing, and the catalyst K for recruiting him. Also, I did notice that there was a Hancock shout out in this.
There was exactly 500 fucks in the first scene.
Yep.
Counted them. I counted all the fucks.
Yes. Counting every.
But no fucks
But
were
how
given.
many of them did you actually give, Dale?
No, she plays again.
And I know I'm the one that's normally on about audio listeners, but
The silence
So nice.
speaks volumes.
Yeah.
so nice he did it twice.
Silence is very bright.
But not so nice you do it thrice.
So who wants to do movie quotes, you guys?
I will say my favorite line. I don't know if it made the quotes list or not, but after he's dealing with his neighbors, after he beats the fuck out of that fairy, kills it, and they give him grief. He's like, "No, y'all go back to y'all gangster shit. I ain't trying to sell my house or nothing. Y'all just do your gangster shit. It'll be all right."
Right.
Yeah.
You just
I love that.
doing your gangster shit.
Yeah.
Or he's looking down at the fairy and goes, and that's how I roll.
Yeah.
Fairy lives don't
That's
matter.
how we roll.
Because making fun of Black Lives Matter as a movement's always fun.
Yeah.
Especially
from a
coming
black man.
From a black man, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how upset he was having to read that line.
Yeah.
He's Will Smith. He doesn't have to read shit. He wasn't upset.
Exactly.
Right. If we want to do quotes, I can do Nick. That's fine. I'm the most orcish motherfucker here.
I'm not doing Will Smith at all. I'm not doing that.
Rachel, be
Well,
Will Smith.
No.
No holes.
Oh, they're the ones I was born with. How are your holes?
How the fuck can you make a shootout awkward?
Sorry.
That was great. How can you make a shit out awkward? And he just apologizes.
There were some real bright moments in this movie, and that meant in every way. But it's like
most of them involving Nick.
Yeah, Nick is the best part in this movie. We'll get to that too.
Right.
So Dale, you get to be the douchebag cop.
Oh, yay. You know, like I've always wanted to be.
I figured.
Well, I mean, you've already found your good cop, so you got to be a bad cop.
Well,
His good cop is Water Buffalo.
Oh, actually.
Water Buffalo, the good cop.
My God, he's gonna do it now.
Now that would be his orc voice. You
That's-
should have been Nick if you were doing Water Buffalo.
There's still time. Actually, can I do? Actually, you know what? Someone else be the jerk cop. I'll do Water Buffalo next. Up next.
Carrie, you want to be
That's magic right there. That's whatever you want. You want $1 million? You want 10 million? You want to be taller, shorter, have less tiny hands, make your dick bigger? You want to go back in time and marry the girl who didn't blow you on prom night? That's how you do it right there.
We had two very different prom nights.
Clearly, we had different prom nights.
So we're not a political show at all.
No.
Kill. Oh man. Man. To make Dale uncomfortable. Kill Nazi.
Always. I think we might be in a prophecy.
Not in a prophecy, all right?
How do you know if you see how that works?
We are in a stolen Toyota Corolla.
My parents just died, and I'm really into this movie. Hi, my name is Water Buffalo. I'm really in this movie, believe me. My parents would be so proud.
I almost said stolen Toyota for some reason.
I mean, you're not wrong. Also, we neglected one of the best line sequences in the movie. Hey, Nick.
What? Oh, I don't know where is this coming?
Fuck magic.
Oh, no,
Oh, yeah.
Cool. All right, so top half of the show, we talk about production side of things. And Suicide Squad being involved in this did kind of give me Suicide Squad flashbacks on herky jerky editing, very bad, or not very bad, sometimes really bad shot composition. Like
some of the shot compositions were so bad.
The directing was just
awful.
Max Landis. That was the directing. Like that is enough to really just give that what that is. Like it's just
So something I did like, I thought all of the in-world graffiti was really cool. Like the artists who worked on that did a really good job.
No,
and I love how the orcs all had different patterns.
Yes.
Cool.
And like the environments felt like LA. Like it felt like it was it
was filmed in LA, so
yeah. So I mean it had a very, good like set design to it. Like the indoor sets were pretty well done. Like the outside sets, it was not, they actually filmed things at the proper time of day, so you didn't have weird like day for night things and night for day things and shit like that. It was like the set design and even choreography were really well done in this.
I appreciated. I'll give the movie one thing. I did appreciate that it wasn't, in terms of set design and all the rest of it, it wasn't trying to be another location. Like it's not like they were like filming in Vancouver and trying to pretend that it was the North Pole. I suppose that's a bad example.
What I was gonna say is that they were not filming in Vancouver and then passing it off as LA. They actually filmed in LA, which was nice.
Yeah, the one there was one building when they showed the skyline that was like, oh, that looks like it could have been designed by an elf architect, but that building might exist for all I know. I don't know what the LA skyline looks like.
No.
I thought the shooting of it, I thought it felt like Training Day. Yeah, I thought it felt very gritty and not high fantasy elf and orc, just dirty world that happens to have magic shit in it.
Yeah, I
LA.
got hit in the face with the gritty hammer pretty hard.
Yeah.
There's your quote for the evening.
Yeah, I think the biggest the biggest flaw in the world building setup of the opening arc of the film was the fact that they start smashing you in the face with the racial subtext right from the get-go. And
Yes.
but the problem with that is they also go out of their way to show the superior senses, the super strength of the orcs. How did they wind up the ghettoized species?
Because that's how they are in every game and every story ever. And they refer to that, right? They talk about, well, this is really like the round table plot stuff, but they refer to they chose evil over everything else.
Okay, so
My one thought to possibly explain that is how out of 1,000,000 brights, 999,999 of them are apparently elves.
Yeah, and the elves are
So
stronger than the orcs. So.
Yeah, it's probably not the humans ghettoizing the orcs. It's the elves doing it and the humans being like, yay, we're not completely oppressed.
Right. Plus, also, it's like, yeah, let's
just make orcs great again. Come on.
Let's.
And yeah, production wise, good job to the frickin' makeup artists.
Oh yeah, like it was. Yeah, like the makeup was really well done. Like even like the and something that always catches my eye is like battle wounds and shit like that, and they handled that very well as well.
They handled that well. The things like you got nostril flares out of the orcs.
Yep, and like Eric said, each of them looked different. Each of them looked unique, and it was good. Like what this movie did good did very good.
Even the elves, like we were just saying, the movie got hit with the grit hammer pretty hard, but the elves looked clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were smooth-faced, immaculate. Well, yeah, not all of them, obviously. Some of them had some blood on their hands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah.
For the most part, when you're seeing Edgar Ramirez
as Edgar Ramirez,
or the random city elves in Elftown, which really Elf District.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they keep to themselves.
That's what you're gonna go with.
They keep to themselves.
Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, like in this
when I think about you, I touch myself.
In this case, them actually almost looking photoshopped worked really, really well because they are supposed to look unnaturally smooth and pretty all the time.
Yeah. At first, I thought the elf cop was freaking Patel from Scott Pilgrim versus the World, whitewashed. I just realized, no, this white dude just looks a lot like this Indian guy.
Like, I've seen him before. I swear I've seen him.
This movie is filled of those guys. Like they're in one episode of everything, but because they're in one episode of everything, you swear you've seen them everywhere. Because you have. You are just not familiar enough with them because they don't really do much. They just do stuff. Like,
yeah.
Also, he may have looked familiar because in his mannerisms and bearing, he was hardcore channeling Lee Pace as Thranduil, and I love him for it.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, if you need a depiction of an elf,
yeah,
you've got Lee Pace and you've got Hugo Weaving.
Yeah, so you channel the hell out of those two. It just so like the character side of things, like design and things like that, that all worked really well for me. Where it fell apart was the actual like production side of things. It just
this movie was long. Like
I
Was
still
not expecting 2 hours.
Yeah, this movie feels like it should be an hour and a half movie.
Right.
But I mean, it's a movie, so you walk into it expecting 2 hours, but I think it should have been 90 minutes.
No, I reckon it should have been 7 seconds, like all movies are these days.
Yeah, because kids.
Because kids, you know. A 7-second Vine actually would have worked quite well for this movie. To be honest. Like,
We need to find the wand. Found the wand. Yay!
Yay! And then this random shot of a strip club for no reason, just because it had to be in there.
No, there's always a reason to have boobs in a movie.
So always. A titty bar? A shoot up in a titty bar.
I mean, you're hitting 2 out of 3 demographics. You're hitting straight men and gay women. You're not going to let. I mean, the only one you left out is gay men, and they could have done a butt shot of Will Smith easily. You know, come on.
Easily. Yeah, there's the guns there. There you go.
Titty bar shooter. That's how you want to die. Fine, you and me right now. Titty bar shootout there.
Also, totally wasn't looking at Will Smith the entire time during that scene. Just
wait for it to pop out, or.
I mean.
Oh, but all right. So, okay, Dale. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that after.
Let's talk. Yeah. Let's talk movies, shall we? On the air, like, let's do that. What do you got for it?
Adding that to the show titles.
Movies. No, Dale and I have had those kind of conversations, and all I'm going to say to Dale is Luke Cage.
Yes, but
no, no, you're wrong, and you should feel bad.
I really don't like at all.
You should.
Makes no sense to anyone who isn't us.
Yay, Dale sings things.
So like everything fell apart when it came to any kind of back end stuff, like character direction. Just no. Scripting was it felt like he was trying to write a C- Tarantino movie, and it came off like that.
Particularly with the grit hammer too, like fully like attempting to grit it up.
Yeah, that's what I got is like, hey, this is a hardcore street cop movie. Hey, we're on the streets of LA. Hey, guess what? Fuck. Like, yep. I get what they're going for. And part of the reason I was interested in watching this movie was the juxtaposition of high fantasy in ghetto LA, but they were a little bit, they were a little bit, especially right out of the gate where
he goes down talking to his wife and just like,
yeah. They hit that note a little bit hard for my taste.
Yeah.
I do still like, I still like the fact that, you know, a setting like this exists, but it speaks for itself. You don't need to push the button that many times.
Exactly.
I mean, at least it wasn't an hour and 45 minutes of them walking and then 5 minutes of a shootout and roll credits, you know, like that's Lord of the Rings in that show.
Yeah. They kind of got like the talking stuff. They did about half talking, half action, which, I mean, if I wanted to watch a movie about racism, I'd watch a well done one. So I didn't need that, but we'll get into that in the
Okay, real quick off the top of your head, list great movie about racism.
Right, I was going to say, you go, okay, I know that, we're doing this. We're doing
Bruce,
this.
Malcolm X.
Okay, if we weren't going necessarily hardcore racism, Shawshank Redemption is still better than this.
Yeah, Shawshank is a great movie that has heavy.
Okay. That Shawshank Redemption is like on the AFI Top 100. You cannot compare that to Bright.
By the way,
you literally just asked for a good movie about racism.
Schindler's
Love
List.
you, Charles.
Schindler's List would be another one, but that's more so genocide rather than racism.
I mean,
White Chicks is on there.
White Chicks, yes. White Chicks.
We need to watch White Chicks for the show, guys.
No,
we don't.
I love that stupid movie. Yes.
Oh, that's so horrible. It's such a horrible movie.
Hey,
there's White Chicks too, isn't there?
No,
yes.
I was wrong. So there.
I like that it's a Tuesday night and CJ just got home from work. You know, just hopping into the boathouse. I'm doing stuff. just decompressing from the day. You know what I would love right now? It's a good racist movie. Sorry, about racism.
I was going to say that there's a Song of the South if you want a racist movie.
Yeah, no, yeah, right.
I mean,
Like that imagery in my head.
The CJ gets his Zima and watches white chicks to unwind. That's what he is.
I mean,
Just some of that glitter wine.
other than the fact
Yes!
that it tastes like a donkey's asshole. I mean, I'm wrong.
My surprise is that you have context for that.
I grew up in Ohio, good sir.
Fair point.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I mean, we pretty like the production side of things. I might have to rethink how we do rant and review, guys, because the production,
Yeah, we might have to.
like, it tends to turn off the rails like this. So before we go, sticking with the current show notes, we're gonna take a quick break, and then on the other side of it, we can rant and rail about this movie in true form.
Yeah, as opposed to its untrue form.
Well, taking part of the actual other part of the show and doing it with the show notes. We have show notes, Dale.
I know. It's amazing. I should read them sometime. I should make them sometime.
I know. So we're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna play some music. Podcast listeners are gonna hear some ads. So hit up our sponsors. We love them. And we're all gonna hear Leo Moracchioli's cover of Imagine Dragons' amazing song Thunder, his metal version of that. I heard this and I was so stoked to hear it. It's real, real good. I gotta make sure I'm not gonna play Despacito because that's what I was listening to earlier.
Wait, the real version or the only real version?
No, Leo.
Or the only real version, which is the Google Translate version.
Well, see, every time those songs come on, my kids are like, "We don't want to hear this."
Yeah,
it's the radio, sweetie.
All right, guys, we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
I was uptight, wanna let loose. I was dreaming of bigger things and wanna leave my old life behind. Not a yes sir, not a follower. Pick the box, pick the mold, have a seat, pick the foyer, take a number. I was lightning before the Kids were laughing in my classes while I was screaming for the masses. Who do you think you are? Dreaming about being a big star. They say you're basic, they say you're easy. You're always riding in the backseat. Now I'm smiling from the stage while you were clapping in the nosebleed. Thunder, 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 thunder. Lightning and the thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
that was Leo Moracchioli's cover of Imagine Dragons Thunder off of his new album, number 17, Leo Metal Cover 17. Out last week. You can get it pretty much anywhere where you get your digital music stuff, and I highly recommend it because it has stuff like that. It has his cover of No Diggity, which is fantastic. Another one bites the dust.
Ooh.
With bike horn and everything.
That one is awesome, I have to say.
The Pink Panther theme.
Ooh.
And of course, his metal cover of I'm Too Sexy.
Nice. He is on Spotify. You can actually get a lot of his stuff on Spotify now.
Yep. All of his stuff. He releases on his YouTube video first. I'm a patron of his too, so I kind of just get that there first.
Yeah.
I follow him. I pretty much play most of my music from Spotify now because hey, it supports the artists as I play them.
Right. Crazy thought there.
May not be a ton, but at least it gives them a little bit. And they're being nice enough to let me use their music. So, oh man. So back to Bright.
Back to Bright, huh?
Back
to Bright.
Back to life. Back to reality.
Back to Bright.
So
I don't know. Okay. It's a good concept. I'll give the movie that.
I was so sold on the concept for this. Like Will Smith plus the amalgamation of actual reality and high fantasy. Like that is like all me. Like
sorry, Raul is I'm gonna call Raul's bluff here. Raul is trolling us from the chair going, do we have to? Do we have to?
I gotta say, I didn't know what to expect going in. All I really saw was the cover art on Netflix and hadn't watched the preview or anything. So I see Will Smith holding the sword. I see an orc, and I was like, I don't know what this is.
Sword made a whole lot of appearances.
Yeah, like one. But I think it might be. I think
did
it might
like
get
that
cut.
scene though.
Yeah, he's like, that was a good scene. But I like offbeat, dark, gritty cop movies. There's one I wish I could think of, but basically, there's two partners at the beginning of the film. It was like maybe straight to DVD or something. I watched it when I was watching a ton of media when I was working in the office. No, but it was two cops, and you'd recognize the Hispanic actor. But essentially, one of them gets killed early on in the film, and he's a ghost the whole time telling the story. And it's just weird that way.
White Chicks 3, where even. Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Well, this wasn't Training Day. I felt like it was a great cop film, like the dirty noir. It's not noir, is the wrong word, but that genre of guy cop film going on with some awesome fantasy stuff on the side.
Yeah.
Bad Boys 4?
Bad Boys 4.
They're working on that. Shut your mouth.
So I mean, I like quote unquote buddy cop films, and even like more serious ones like this. I loved Bad Boys. Like I said, this felt too try hard for me, and then I realized that it's a Max Landis joint, and that is pretty much everything.
So I had to look up Max Landis because I wasn't familiar with him, but he did. I don't remember.
Freaking Looper.
No, he did some stuff I've watched. I just can't remember now. I did a bunch of Dirk Gently. He did a bunch of Dirk
Gently, which is not great.
I love Dirk Gently. You shut your mouth.
Oh, fight.
What was that?
Sunday at Dragon Con.
Sunday.
Dale's noise is what I'm more interested in here. The new Dirk Gently, you like that, by the way?
Yes.
All right.
I do.
Okay.
Kiss. Says Ralph on the chair. He's on point tonight. Look at you go, Ralph.
I mean, it's like he's doing anything else.
Oh.
I feel
that
really
hurts.
bad. I feel
Oh,
really
here
bad
he is. No. Sorry, go.
I feel really bad for Nick in this movie because he's the best character in the whole thing. And he is surrounded by assholes.
Yes, everybody in this movie, including Will Smith, for
He's
the
an
vast
asshole.
majority of the movie, is a gigantic asshole. Any kind of like helping the perception of cops not be total racist douchebags is completely thrown out the movie on this one. And
Like-
I mean,
But
that's
that wasn't the point.
That's
Even
completely
the
intentional.
internal affairs people.
Yeah, but I mean that's Landis's thing. Like he pretty much is a cop hater, and he's self-professed. Like he's all over Twitter on that with that shit. Like,
Sure, but think about it as like a comic book where it's all over the top characters, where everything was a characterization. There were no characters, all characterizations. So all the cops were assholes. The orcs were the gangbangers, right? Except for Nick. And he's the one that tries. He's the good kid that tries. Everybody else was just a characterization.
most of them tried. I mean, trying. Like the orc leader dude was trying until he's just like, I couldn't beat the system, so I made the system my own. Like,
Yeah, like
Well,
he was
that was a
talking
great
about.
speech.
Yeah, that was
Hey.
an amazing scene.
Yeah. Where he
Yeah.
brought peace because that's what he did. He
Yeah.
he ran the thing as a. It's kind of like the Kings of L.A.
Yeah.
Like no, yeah,
yeah, Kings of LA.
yeah. Where their neighborhood is totally gang run, but it's peaceful, it's smooth, everything works. And what did you do? You brought cops up into my club. We brought cops up into your club.
I mean, even Will Smith's characters, like, you know, who came in here, ruined our peace? Us. Who is in here constantly berating us and keeping us down? Us.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, there's some great moments. There's some great moments. In
yes, absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, when this movie is good, it is on point. Like, it's really good. But like then it's just taken apart by itself. That's the problem. It pieces apart itself.
The main problem I think I have with this movie is that it's too ambitious. It had to have it decided to go down two roads: be a dark, gritty cop film, or develop this relatively new concept of magical creatures in the human world and how they interact with humans at some undefined time in the future. The movie had to either go one of those two directions, and I think
it doesn't have to be the future. It could be now or in the 80s.
I think it was in the future in this movie, wasn't it?
Well, just because you're in Australia, everything's in the future.
No,
everything's in the past.
You're in the future right now.
I'm fairly sure this
pretty
was
current
2016 when it was filmed. So fairly sure that's when it was took place.
Oh, okay.
There were modern cars. There were modern, there was modern everything. So fairly
Well,
sure.
I just heard them referencing 2,000 years ago, so I'm assuming that it was shot like.
Well, if you go to church every once in a while, you might hear them referencing 2,000 years ago too, Dave.
yes, and yes, and yes.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened 2,000 years ago, Dale.
Apparently.
You know about a good church-fearing boy.
I went to church once upon a time.
Last time I went, the church shook. I didn't go in again.
I love that you use the phrase "once upon a time" in a rant and review about.
Once upon a time in a land kind of far away, but it's foreign, but not too much.
It just, I think you kind of nailed it. Like it was trying to be too many things at once, and because of that, it stumbled on all of them. Like it was trying to be try to be a social documentary of current things and how anybody who's different is bad. And then you have a black guy calling out jokes on Black Lives Matter because
I didn't get that at all, really, out of that scene.
He literally said fairy lives don't matter today. He literally said that.
Right.
I just
implication that was and aside from that, the implication of everyone getting up in his grundle about once he beat the living shit out of because we haven't cursed in a while out of that fairy. Fuck, he fucking beat the fuck out of there was fairy.
Because
what
it was
the
obvious
fuck was that?
It's obvious that creature is both a sentient and sapient creature. It was talking.
But it was a dick.
It doesn't matter. He's a cop. And that is a sapient creature in a world where they have rights.
If they didn't say that, they didn't say fairies have rights. And if that wolf spider at 3 a.m. talked to you, would you still not kill it?
Okay, he said fairy lives don't matter today. Means there's probably been rallies about fairy lives matter and shit like that. So there is a very high implication that that is a creature that has sapience and that is protected. And he beat the shit out of it. And I quote, "Do like you LA cops do."
That's how we
Right.
roll.
That's how we roll.
That's all right, CJ. You just keep doing your gangster shit. I'm not trying to sell my podcast or nothing.
And what's the
also
podcast again?
felt
Hang on,
really- it also felt really weird having Will Smith in this movie, in this part. Like this man who, and
I felt like it's old school Will Smith here.
I mean, like if it was old school Will Smith, he wouldn't have swore because his grandma would have smacked the ever living shit out of
Well,
him.
okay, that's true. That is true. I didn't forget about that.
Like, there's a reason why, like in Men in Black and shit like that, he never swore, and it's only recently that he started taking roles that he would swear in. Like,
Side quest. Did he swear this much in Suicide Squad?
no, he didn't swear at all.
No, they went for like a PG-13 in Suicide Squad, so they kind of toned it back, I think.
A little bit. But I think I don't know. Again, yeah, Will Smith trying to. This is not the first time he's played a cop. Ever.
No, he played. I mean, Bad Boys. He's famous for his cop roles. Bad Boys. I mean, Men in Black is a cop role essentially.
Yeah, Men in Black is where I was going.
So he's made himself famous in his movie career by playing cops. Like,
And they shouted out Men in Black in this movie.
yeah, and there's all sorts of Will Smith references in this movie. Like I said, I called out Hancock. You know, they called him. They said the Men in Black about the magic police. Like, there's lots of, hey, remember Will Smith's in this movie, and we're gonna poke at it a bunch of times, guys.
Because
Yeah,
when
it worked in Deadpool, so yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Deadpool was literally, there was only 3 walls in that movie at any one given time. So
Also, that movie's meant to be satirical. Like this.
Also-
Oh, go ahead, Care.
I was gonna say, I know you meant to say walls. I heard, because I mishear things all the time, I heard there's only 3 wolves in that movie at any given time.
only 3 at any given time.
The
So
fourth wolf is in
what-
Vanderpool.
yes,
Coming,
Something's got to be howling at the moon.
you can catch it Wednesdays here on the Geek I Network.
there you go. Remember, Will Smith is an actor, says Dilbert.
I am looking forward to seeing what not Max Landis will do to this.
Yes,
Because the world is still really fascinating.
Yeah, now that Max Landis is not attached to this, and it won't have to be social commentary because they kind of literally killed that off. I would love to see how this is going to progress. And when Bright 2 comes out, I will watch it because
That's the thing that I think really killed this movie being as good as it could have been, is they crammed a lot into 2 hours that they shouldn't have.
Max Landis just shoving his dick into everything. Yeah.
Well, that too, but
And fucking everything, just fucking everything.
I
Like,
would.
Why did this
there
much
was
money?
so much world building that needed to be done
Yes.
that
Like, I wanna know
wasn't
more about
done.
Or I want to know, like,
I would watch the hell out of this as a series.
oh yeah, absolutely, fucking like,
I love that you thought about if you're going to swear or not in that moment.
I just gave up on it because fuck that.
Because there you go.
Fuck this,
yeah,
fuck
like,
that, fuck everything.
yeah, like seeing this as a continuing story would be fantastic, and like.
But
No,
again, you would
Will
have
Smith
to.
around because he could get promoted because of all this and could get off of a beat cop thing, but there's no way an orc would be able to do that. So they keep him on the beat trail and just have the orc and his new teammate, have his new partner go around, and she's an adorable mermaid turned elf.
Also, I'm really disappointed that Nick did not turn out to be the Bright.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you saw that coming a million miles away.
Yeah, it had to be Will Smith, but yeah, it would have been good to see him as being the Bright, and there's still a chance of that happening though. So
Yeah, I kind of hope.
Well, the thing is, it's pretty obvious that Nick is the second coming of Jarek.
yeah, of Orc Jesus, yes.
So, I mean that wasn't even subtle. That was
Yeah, that was spelled out.
hammered.
Remember, this guy was unclaimed like me, and like he's just like me, and just like me, and just like me, and then they salute him and they blood him at the end. It's like, okay.
You could really have cut like
Or-
15
Jesus.
movies.
I-
into that, right?
I do like, though, how they cut off the "where the fuck did these guys come from" complaint, because when they zoom out to do the wide shot of the fire, you see them showing up to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just, yeah, man, like, and I can't, I'm sorry to keep hounding at this, but he ruined this movie. Like, the creator ruined this movie. And I'm so glad.
Yeah. Do we want to get into that conversation that we had in the pre-show about the script?
The script being sold now for $3.5 million.
Right.
Yeah, that's the best decision he could make. Yeah, he made this movie for money, but also to, like, hey, you guys remember, like, cops are bad, most of them, right? Most cops are bad, right? Remember that, guys. Especially if you look different, guys. That you should remember that, because guys, cops. You know, guys, Black Lives Matter. Not today. Remember, I also sexually assaulted a woman. So, but we're gonna ignore
that. Dale drinking a juice box.
We're gonna ignore the fact that he sexually assaulted a woman.
I like that Charles just noticed that.
That's the music you hear when you drink your juice box.
It's like it's the Kermit the Frog, but that's none of my business meme.
The thing is that they could have put the racism and all of this institutional crap in there without spending as much time on it in the movie as they could. Like, having the internal affair people show up and give him the recording device and be like, hey, we're just doing our job, but you know there's another motive just from the way they're looking at him. Or, you know, having Will Smith actually struggle with, well, I don't want an orc in my car, but I actually kind of like this guy, and actually seeing him overcome the racism rather than just being a dick the whole movie.
No, but the best dick moment is, you know, that face you make when you're thinking, oh, Nick, you know that face you make when you shut the fuck up because you're a stupid orc? Oh, yeah, that one you're making right now. That one. That's it. You got it.
You got it.
Oh, that's a great asshole moment right there.
But I didn't. The whole "remember we're still not friends" right thing near towards the end was just.
Well, that was poking. That was
right.
I was okay with.
I was waiting for the "you're my brother" line.
Yeah, me too.
Nah, that wouldn't have been true to his character. I mean, yeah, there's character growth, but this movie was in 36 hours. The whole thing lasts 36 hours. You know, he's not going to be like, you're my bro in 36 hours. You're like, yeah, right, you know, I don't hate you.
Nick, look, the firemen are here.
We should have been firemen.
Yep.
That was good. That them coming out of the building was cute and adorable. I like that a lot.
Yeah, but they're not friends. Remember that. They've just gone through all of this this whole shit poodle, and they're still not friends.
They're friends.
With literally anyone else in the world, I would at least have a closer friendship with them and respect for them than, you know, I did before. But they literally just burnt that down to the ground, metaphorically and literally. And yes, okay. I did.
There is much quote unquote not friends as Ray's parents are nobodies. Like.
Yeah, but we don't know.
But that's I mean, it depends on what the new director does. But if he really, well, that's the thing. He was worried about his family and his career, right? I mean, that whole standing up to IA and then getting bullied into doing it, and you're having the issues there. There's a lot of. You're right. His character is one of the best characters in this thing, but it's. You still 36 hours, man. So you still get that struggle of, how do I provide for my family? How do I do what's right? How do I get along with the people? And there probably is a widespread hatred of orcs. You know, let's take it to real racism, right? Even the people who didn't hate black people or Jews or fill in the blank racism here, there still was a distrust or I grew up with this kind of thing. And while I don't really hate them, I kind of don't like them type of deal. You know, so 36 hours, what I'm saying is, doesn't change that struggle that's one of the best parts of the movie was Will Smith's struggle with the balance of life there.
He could have been a little bit more caring about being a family person, though, outside of plot convenience.
Yeah.
He was definitely willing to throw his life away. I'm like, dude, you have a wife and daughter. Like, do not.
But but it's okay because he told them to get out of town, like straight away. Like that.
Okay, but that's not going to help them if he dies.
That was.
But wasn't he? I'm missing something. Wasn't there something where he kind of didn't care if he died?
Yeah, we're gonna go down a titty bar fight scene. We're gonna do this right
well,
here.
No, I mean before that, there was like a little. It wasn't like in your face, but for some reason, in the back of my mind, I think there was something that, like something the wife said to him, like he had been through something before this movie, and she said,
they're getting the shot. Getting
the
shot.
gunshot.
Oh, yeah, that's right, the gunshot. So it kind of changed his perspective, and he was just, I don't know, he was struggling and
dealing with trauma and depression and stuff like that. But still, like, I don't know.
The fact that Nick was getting a burrito by the way when that went down. Just FYI.
Yeah, the thing is like all of the stuff, like, yeah, he is struggling with racism, and yeah, the people around him are racist, and he's got this family and stuff. Like, all of these things are good story elements, but it wasn't a very nuanced approach.
Absolutely.
And I still enjoyed the movie. I still had fun, but it could have been another level of awesome with a little bit more of a elegant touch on the writer's pen.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair. Way to bring the show to a halt, Carrie. Awesome sauce.
That's a good point.
It comes down to like when you're talking about books, right? There's showing versus telling. And a lot of the situation building and the characterization that we got in at least in the very beginning felt more like tells than shows.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Like
I was gonna say at the same time, I like movies that just drop you in the middle and you don't know what's going on, like Blade Runner, right? You just get dropped right in the middle of this. You get a blip of time of what this going on in this universe, and you kind of pick up hints. But there's a big audience that doesn't like that. They want to have their hand held, and I think I would have rather your version, Carrie, of just getting dropped right in the middle of Bright, and we're just seeing this 36 hours of time, and we're not being told everything that we got told. We're just kind of figuring it out.
Yeah, like that would have been, and that's honestly what I thought we were going into, and I was really stoked for it.
Hmm.
And then yeah, but like, I still had fun.
Oh, the new Blade Runner is so good, though. Can we just talk about that for the rest of the episode?
So I mean, this is where like I had some fun in this, and it was mostly just revolving around Nick in such a well-created character. Like, but
yeah, let's just have a TV show about Nick.
Yeah, like I said, have Will Smith's character be promoted so that way, well, we're working with the magical feds now because they know he's a Bright.
Yeah, he's got to go.
Don't have him work with a magical fairy.
He's at magic training camp.
Yeah, exactly. So then we just have Nick. I'd be down for that. Like,
yeah.
All right.
Dude, like when ER came out, I watched. It was only on for like 3 years. I want to say it's LA something. I cannot remember what it was called, but it was very much what you're describing, without magic, of course. But it's just the beat cops, the struggle. You had all the different personalities going on. It was done so well. Blair Underwood joined in like the second season. That's all I can remember off the top of my head. But I watched every damn episode of it. But that I thought this was going to be a series. I thought like this, and
yeah, that's kind
of just started watching.
Like,
yeah, I started watching Altered Carbon, and I thought Altered Carbon is going to be a movie, and so it's like this is flip flop where Altered Carbon is a series. It's really well done, by the way, and this was a movie where this could have been a series.
I wrote down the note. This is the best episode of Orcsis I have ever seen in my life. That's the first note I wrote down.
Yeah, I think this would be a completely different story if this would have been a 2-hour pilot for a show. Like if we had that and not just another movie coming out, this would be a lot different for me, because then we would have a setup of what we're going to be dealing with and everything like that. And like I said, I understand. I mean, Netflix doesn't really have the issue with not being able to afford people. Let's face it. But like, you don't. I mean, admittedly, Will Smith's busy. Okay, you don't need to have him on every episode. That's fine.
Oh man, I just had the thought.
Yeah.
What this movie could have led into. This is something my dad used to watch all the time when I was little, and it's bubbling back up from the depths of my memory. It would have been a high fantasy version of Alien Nation.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
That
Just
worked.
A episodic series of species trying to get along when there's obviously tension and differences.
And Alien Nation was fucking rad. Like,
It really was.
it,
But yeah, I mean, just yeah. Netflix executives, because clearly you're watching us.
yes.
Get on this.
Stop paying Adam Sandler $600 million or some bullshit and make a series of this.
Bright the series. Can the plans for a second movie just start expanding?
And for
make
the
this-
love of
make it
God,
go?
let Max Landis not have anything to do with it.
No, he's already been kicked off.
So
Well, yeah, Netflix is definitely very much so. As soon as any kind of allegations of sexual assault come out, like I'm surprised he didn't get pushed, like because his sexual assault allegations came out a couple of weeks before this was coming out, and I'm
Yeah.
surprised it did not get the hammer.
Probably because Will Smith.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. On that train of thought, and I don't know if this will work, and I'm probably going to get poo-pooed for this because
Probably.
let's face
It's fun to
it,
poo-poo.
ideas aren't the best. Because hell, I said the word shit poodle in this episode.
That's a
Shit.
great thing. I don't know what you're talking
How about a Sherlock style?
Nope.
He just stopped you right there. I'm gonna let you finish, but really, I'm not.
And walks away. All right, bye. Next.
So Sherlock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
It
could be 2 hours. You can still have.
I don't know
that
about like magical detective things.
Did you say Sherlock? Because that would be a great title.
Of
Sherlock.
course I did.
Oh yeah, Charles hasn't been on since we've adopted a Josh and Carrie.
Yeah, he has.
Has
Yeah,
he?
I've been on with them. We haven't done movies. It's usually a drunken blaze of bullshit. So
Yeah, it was the pre-Dragon Con episode where we just kind of sat around awkwardly because we weren't going to Dragon Con.
I had Dragon Con circle jerk because that's
See,
all.
this
I
is the part where immediately following my pun, Felix would be like, "God damn it!"
Damn it.
Yeah, he's the pun king.
Sherlock works. So I liked it.
The Dragon Con episode where I made one person laugh. One.
If you make one person laugh, that's what it is. Like that's
and one probably drunk lady in the back saying how she would trust the Australian over everyone else. I say drunk simply because who trusts Australians? Jesus Christ.
right.
Especially when you put out amazing goddamn trailers like Dundee, then it turns out to be a fucking travel ad and not a real goddamn movie. I want to see that movie so fucking bad. Oh.
Don't tease us with Crocodile Dundee. That's not nice.
I mean,
Or
it's
when they
such a
talk about
perfect
new-
premise.
Nice.
Or when they talk about new episodes of Futurama.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
Love you,
Half-Life
Dale.
3. Come on.
Right.
Now come on. Now you're just making shit up.
Yeah, that was great. I'm like, wait, are we getting another Dundee? Nope. Wait, no.
The thing was, he was such a failure of a son. I was like, this is perfect. This is awesome.
That's not a movie.
It's Half-Life, not Third Life.
That's not a movie.
That's okay. It was all just tied ads
No,
anyway.
Dale. No, we're not doing that.
Nope, it's a tie dad.
It's a tie ad.
Oh, that was so amazing. No stains. No stains.
It's tie dad.
I never thought a Tide Had would have all of these men in here chomping at the bit so badly.
Oh.
It must be a tie dad.
Yep, it's tie dad.
I'm in a tie dad.
Yes, that was fantastic. Like that was fucking brilliant. Did you see that the guys at Old Spice created a D&D 5e character?
They made the Old Spice man.
Basically, It's stupid overpowered. No, you can't play it. But
Well, I'm just saying, I love seeing shit like that. Like
No,
when
yeah.
people stat out Santa Claus or something like
Well,
that.
like at level 13, he can once a day make somebody else go up a level and summon a horse.
Well, summoning a horse isn't that out of there. I mean,
But what if the horse stays? Then it kind of is, because then after a week you have 7 horses.
And why? Wait, and so there's something wrong with that?
why, yes. We went from talking about Bright to talking about laundry products. It's almost like the tide has turned.
All right. So, do we have any other comments on Bright? Or should we
I
go?
have fun
again,
looking.
Yeah, it was fun. It wasn't god awful. It wasn't Sausage Party. I really like. I really want a series, but I'll take the second movie because I just want to see more of what they plan to do with this theoretical world, because it's the kind of thing that is very interesting to me. And like, even in the movie, there were, just missteps they were making in crushing this all into a 2-hour box, because like early on when they're just driving and they stop by that scene of police brutality, there's a fucking centaur cop.
Yeah.
A centaur cop. How has that not impacted any of the architecture in the immediate area?
Exactly.
Because they're leaving in things show, not
Yeah.
tell, in that spot.
In the opening crawl, you see a crossing sign with a lizard person on it.
Yeah.
Like, did they have Trump pose for that, or?
Oh.
Can we just?
No,
I want to go back to my theory. I want to go back to my theory that this was shot way in the future. Just FYI.
No,
But
it's like they directly pretty much say that it's modern.
I know. I like Dale. I like that you said shot in the future and not set in the future.
The movie really is ahead of its time.
Yeah.
The movie comes out before production's finished.
I mean, I've watched some pretty bad movies. I would not be surprised.
What's going on here? You're watching now, sir. Everything that's happening now is happening now in the movie.
I mean, have you
What
seen?
happened then? We passed it. When? Just now. We'll turn around. We can't, sir. Why not?
Literally, the beach scene in Birdemic is what you just described. Well done.
Well, when will then be now? Soon.
I'm just distracted by the fact that Dale has seen Birdemic.
2. I've seen both of them.
Yeah, he has. Dale used to run a podcast on this, one of my favorite podcasts of all time, and sadly he retired it because he hates me. A Terrible Tuesday movie night, where he would watch movies like Birdemic and Catwoman.
Oh.
So is our next hurricane movie Birdemic?
Sure.
Wait, we haven't all watched Trolls together though. Trolls 2 together, right?
Troll 2, not Trolls 2.
Trolls 2.
Trolls
Trolls
is the movie
2.
with Anna Kendrick and Justin Timberlake.
It has a lot of fucks in it, apparently.
No, the trolls don't fuck. That's Team America.
How do you think
People
little trolls
hit
get
me
born?
up to reboot that series. Like, I don't know.
All right. So let's go ahead and Tito this up, shall we? For those who are new.
Time for teetotaling?
Yes. Tito's are our trainings in the Outback, our obligatory rating scale, 1 to 10, can do halves, but have to justify the half, either top half or bottom half of the training. We are going to go with Carrie first. Ladies first.
Oh, I don't like going first on Tito's. So, obviously, my first litmus test for when I'm watching a movie is, did I have fun? And yeah, I picked and prodded and poked at this movie because it's a rant and review, and that's what we do. But I still had fun. The world shows excellent promise, and I can't wait to see more of it without Max Landis's dirty little fingerprints all over it. I'm looking forward to seeing Nick again and seeing what he's up to. Still wish that he would have been the Bright, because I think that would have been a better reversal. But what are you gonna do? It wasn't a perfect movie. It was not, but it was fun. I had fun. I was entertained. I'm going to give it a solid 7.
All right. Let's go with Charles.
Like I said, I dug every bit of it. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have issues, you're gonna have problems, but I watch it like I watch everything. I'm working on one screen, have it running on another, so I'm not like sitting there eating popcorn, studying everything. I might have had a different experience that way. I'm the down parts I'm listening to, the up parts I'm seeing. So I enjoyed it as a whole. I love dirty, gritty cop films. I love when Will Smith is beat down by the world, which is rare. Usually he's the one-liner guy or the awesome guy you want to be, and like this, and it's not. I Am Legend. I Am Legend. Where he's just beat down by the world. Now I Am Legend was Oscar worthy. This was not, but I less elves. The elves were just dicks. I don't need to see them. More orcs and more centaurs. I give it a solid 69.
I saw that in there.
No, I'd say for a cop film, I'm going to give it 7. For a high fantasy film, probably 5. So we'll go with right in the middle, 6. There you
go. All right. Let's go with Dale.
Hi. That's all I have. Fuck. Just fuck this movie. Just fuck this. No. This problem had lots of movies in it. Wow, I need to go.
Clearly, this Dale has lots of alcohol.
And show title.
Oh. I like that one. This problem has lots of movies in it.
Oh, this movie has a lot of problems in it, which some of them are a lot bigger than others, or a lot other than big. No, okay. The editing was the editing was choppy. There was shots that didn't quite line up. This movie, again, I mentioned it. I don't know if I mentioned it on the show yet or just in the pre-show, but I did have a lot of Suicide Squad flashbacks in terms of the production holes in this movie. And I must be honest, dark, gritty cop movies aren't really something I'm familiar with. So you got to take that on a grain of scale too. I don't know if I've seen I Am Legend.
Scale?
What's up?
A grain of scale?
Did I say a grain of scale?
You absolutely said a grain of scale.
It's a grain of dragon scales because it's that dragon they teased and we never got to see. I hope that's in the sequel.
See, there you go. Dragon scales.
Yay, dragon!
Coming to you live from the filing cabinet. I'm gonna go 6 for this movie. I think a lot of the good moments kind of helped cover up a lot of the problems in the production, and there was some light-hearted moments that you could romp through.
Absolutely. Josh.
That's a me.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, yeah, same base litmus as Gary. I had fun watching the movie. It wasn't something I had to slog through like Sausage Party. Or
you really hated Sausage Party, apparently.
It was horrible.
I've never seen it. I'm not planning on it.
It is god awful. It is an affront to anyone who actually put their name on it, except for the assholes who deserve to be associated with it. Looking at you, Seth Rogen.
CJ made us watch it, and we got revenge on him by sitting him down to watch The Room.
That's right.
And then the fact that they had fucking Alan Menken doing the music. Like, anyways.
But anyway.
That's not the threat and review. I enjoyed this movie. It wasn't the best thing I've watched all year or in the past year or anything like that, but it is not a 2 hours of my life that I want back. I sat on the couch, I had good food, I was with people I love, watching something that wasn't complete and utter shit. And that's a decent movie in my book. We had fun. We had a couple of laughs. You know, we did a little bit of renting and reviewing while we were watching it. Like, is that a dragon? Where's the dragon? Why are they showing us? Why are they teasing us with the dragon?
Never getting a dragon.
But
Never.
I believe
I
in
mean-
Tad Cooper.
I super believe in Ted Cooper. Yeah, watch Gallivant if you haven't, people. It's hilarious.
Yes, so good.
Um,
Elevate is amazing.
but yeah, I mean, the movie did have its flaws. It was super ham-fisted with the racial subtext, which it didn't need to be because that would have just come across naturally through the movie. You know, because we as intelligent human beings know how shitty we are as human beings and the way we treat each other based on just minor differences like skin tone.
Yeah.
So we know how absolutely fucked a world would be where we're actually trying to live side by side with ourselves and magical creatures on top of it.
Right.
I mean, they even pointed it out in a bit of passing dialogue. Mexicans still get shit for the Alamo.
Right.
So, like, I like what the movie put forward. I just wish they had handled it all a little bit better because it could have shown so much brighter.
Kind of bright like a diamond.
Well,
I'm
Diamond is unbreakable.
good. I am proud of the fact that I wasn't the one that made that reference.
Well, Unbreakable was the
Less
last
game
good
by the seconds.
Shyamalan movie.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I enjoyed the time I spent watching it with people I like and food I enjoyed. It was not a terrible experience, and yeah, Nick was hands down the best thing in that movie. He was the purest cinnamon orc roll that there ever is. He was a cop for all the right reasons, and you know, he wanted to help people. He wanted to better himself. It was nice to see that sort of representation. You know, that there are genuinely good-hearted people out there in the world, even if it was, you know, through a supposed monstrosity, which I guess kind of makes me like it just a little bit more, because I am a sucker for those sort of archetypes, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm giving it a 7.5 high. It wasn't, like I said, it's not a shitty movie. The things I don't like about it is everything I thought they could have done even better about it.
Okay.
Exactly.
It got in its own way, basically.
Definitely.
Man, I should really start doing in my master spreadsheet here which half is specified.
So you can just have more data. More data.
More data.
Rachel.
So this is going to sound really weird, and I didn't say this while CJ and I were watching this, but if there was not so many F-bombs, this actually kind of goes with what Aaron and I were talking about in the car. Yes, I was talking very deep conversations about racism with my son in the car.
But fuck, how many F-bombs are in this movie?
Like I said, C- Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah. And it's weird because if there was not so many F-bombs and motherfucker and the N-word right off the fucking rip, I have no problem with the N-word.
And the song that is used in that is not much better, because I was listening to the
Oh yeah.
soundtrack as I was getting ready. Man, it's called for that. So, and then they
Yeah.
drop it every 3 seconds.
So, I mean, if that was not the case, this is something that I could actually like feasibly be okay with watching with my kids, because it does tackle a subject that is one everywhere currently in this world, unfortunately. 2, a topic that not many people actually want to sit and talk about for obvious reasons. And it puts it in a light that, minus the language, is actually almost kid-friendly.
Yeah.
If you
Older
take
kid
away all the
friendly, for
F-bombs and, you know, everything, realistically, my kids, CJ's kids, they know that there's a lot. Obviously, it's got orcs. Orcs are not real.
True.
I can
Says
justify
you.
my kids watching something like that minus the language. There was a few moments in there where I actually looked over at CJ and was like, oh my God. Like, Nick made me like go, oh my God. Oh my God. You made me feel clumped. You were going to get me tearing up, you fucking bastard. You goddamn orc. Fucking orcs making me cry. But I wish they'd gone a little bit more into character development with the other characters that we had. But the fact that they did develop quite a bit with Nick in a very short period of time, and they made him endearing.
Yes.
So when he is killed, you kind of go, no, 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 you fuck.
Yeah, that was a brutal scene.
So that makes everything that happens from that point on with Nick all the more, you kind of are on pins and needles because they're not afraid to kill a main character. And there is that very brief moment you're like, wait, he can't die. But wait, no, he down that hole. He ain't coming back.
Oh, then we remember we have magic.
And then we have magic.
Yeah, we got
It's
him on.
okay, because we can bring him back.
All right.
Yay, magic.
That scene also raises an interesting question, but I'll let Rachel continue.
Other than the language, than the one word in specific, because obviously I have no problem dropping F-bombs left and right when I go on a tangent.
Fucking Palooza.
Fuck you.
Fucking Palooza. Shit poodle.
Shit poodle.
Poodles, what?
Yeah, Dale said that earlier.
I said that earlier. I said shit poodle earlier.
Oh God, Dale, I missed it. I'm actually gonna give it a 7.
Okay.
Would I be willing to watch it again? Maybe. But it would be more of like the context that I would pull out of it, not because tonight it was literally, I watched it because I went in with real low expectations. I'm talking, I have a coworker that flat out said, because I was asking her, I'm like, knowing that I'm going to have to watch this, I'm like, tell me your views on Bright. She goes, if you like Will Smith, it's got some real endearing moments. It's got a lot of potty language. Keeping in mind, this is now a kindergarten teacher. She goes, other than the language and a few words that I really can't stand to hear, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And I can see where she's got those two sides. Like, she's torn because there are those really great moments that you're kind of like, okay, I could sit and get through this. And then there's those moments where you're like, oh my God, we're back to that again.
Right. It's the two roads scenario.
Yeah, it's great concept. Not so great execution in a lot of aspects. But I could see where if certain things were tweaked or changed that you could be like, okay, I could do this again. And it's still better than Sausage Party.
It's still all right.
Okay.
What you got, Rachel, for Tito's?
7.
Oh, 7. Sorry, I'm not paying attention.
Pay attention to the lady, damn it.
It's okay. I'm used to being ignored.
I did have it in here. 7,777,000,000.
All right. So my turn. Oh boy. I can't even do the meanie on this one. I didn't hate this movie. I struggle to call it good, but it's definitely not bad. And when it had its moments, and when those moments it did shine very bright. I I love Will Smith and even his bad things. Like, he brightens everything, and also he is clearly a vampire because man, he doesn't age. Like they tried to age him up with the mustache, and it just looks like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with a mustache. Like I don't understand.
But why did he have to have the douche stash?
Because he was trying to be an asshole.
Yeah, they needed to make him look like more of an asshole, and there wasn't any room to have him eat an apple.
Legit. Okay, I can, yeah.
So I mean, like, but the other parts that were not good, I slogged through them. Like it sometimes physically hurt my being. But I mean, all in all, did I enjoy myself? Yeah. Do I want a series not filled with social commentary? Fuck yes. But that's not the movie. The movie is kind of middling to me. So I'm gonna give it a 5.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Would I recommend it to somebody? Yeah, absolutely. Watch it once. It's not a terrible watch. So give it a watch. And going by the jazz scale, if I would recommend it, I need to give it at least a 5.
Fair enough.
And Mystery Man, do you want to put yours in there or?
Mystery Man. Ooh. I'm padding time.
It's a really average movie, so I'm going to give it right in the middle of the road.
There you go.
A 5. And I mean, it wasn't great, like you said, the world building. I wanted more world building. That's what you're supposed to do with your first movie. I was talking to some friends of mine. This seems like a side story that was in the main world.
Yeah,
this didn't feel like it was the main. Yeah, I like the world, but I want more. I want more information of the world. What they were referencing, like 2,000 years ago. I want to see that.
Right. All right. So, what does that give us for a average, Dale?
That gives us a 6.21.
All right. Right.
Still
Pretty much
trending on the
right.
positive.
Yeah.
I did want to touch real quick because Rachel talking about the church scene reminded me. The wands looked very odd in this movie, but that scene made them a little more interesting and a little more sense behind the way they're shaped. Tika's got the wand on her in that scene, but it's not even so much on her as it seems like it's in her.
It looked like it was under her skin.
When you look at it, when you look at it, when she's pulling it out that way, it looks like an arm bone.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it makes me wonder where these wands came from in the first place.
Dark Lord, brr.
Yeah, right. A swimming pool.
Because like they are very oddly shaped. I mean, they're still basic wand shape, but especially when you're seeing it drawn from that angle, you can see that rounded edge that makes up the wrist joint, basically. And if that's the case, if these were a part of something else originally, like something's actual arm bone, is that the reason they're dripped when they drip when they're being used? Is that like essentially magical ichor coming off of it? Is that why only certain people can be brights? Some kind of genetic connection? But it raises questions, and again, movie gives us no answers.
Yep.
And right towards the end when Will Smith touched it, it glowed bright red.
Yes.
We weren't ever gonna get a revolution.
Resolution.
Resolution.
A red solution.
Red solution. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, red solution. Never touch the red solution.
Don't
Never
drink the Kool-Aid.
Always drink the Kool-Aid.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I also hope you put a MAGA hat on.
I mean, this close enough?
No, it's not.
Just make America sparkly again. But I should get that engraved in that. Ooh. But we were not ever going to get a resolution on white glowed yellow, red when Will Smith touched it. I just wanted to put that out there.
Not in that film, but maybe in the next.
Yeah, next one, like I said, it just felt like a freaking pilot, and I really just wish it was.
I mean, we'll see what happens.
Coming soon.
Yep, Bright 2 Electric Boogaloo coming out next year.
Just email this episode to Netflix. Be like, hey, you need to get on this.
At Netflix on Twitter. Hey,
a bunch of people that have a podcast in like very small numbers say you should do a series. You should do that. I've wrote scripts. I could probably write scripts as good as Nick Landis or Mac Landis does. Maybe Nick Landis.
I like that they just keep calling him the wrong name. It's great.
Calling you out on your writing skills, Lanny.
Damn you, Lanny.
All right, guys. You can reach us. Well, no, that's not how I do this show. You can watch us live Thursdays at 10 p.m., 7 p.m. Pacific, Fridays at 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time at geek-io.net/live. You can get a hold of us by going over to geekioshow@gmail.com. All of the social medias are Geek.io Show related. And you can give us a call, leave us a voicemail, 727-489-4335. That is 727-489-GEEK. Before we, nope, I do this first. We have a Discord as well. You can go over to geek-io.net/Discord, and you can hang out with us there. We also have a Patreon, so you can support the show and everything that we do on the Geek.io network by heading over to patreon.com/geekio. Charles.
Yes, not Charles.
No, I'm not. No, I will not.
Oh my!
You're right. I am not Charles.
You're not, yes.
No, in fact, I am definitely not Charles.
Can't you see? It says Geek IO. His name is Geek IO now. So
Charles in charge.
Thanks for coming on, brother. I really appreciate it.
It's fun, man. I have a blast. Maybe the next time I won't be as unfortunately sober as I am tonight.
No, you do fine as fortunately sober.
I didn't even notice the difference.
As opposed to fortunately drunk. Like
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's how that rolls.
Where can people find out more about you?
I do a lot of great work over at Giant Size Team Up Network. That is my network, like Geek.io is yours. And I am on Breaking the Panel. That is the flagship show there. Myself, Paul Klotz, Casey Strohs, and the long lamented but will return Chris Wisdom do geeky topics where we just dive deep into the headlines. And it's not just headlines. That's the jumping point. It gets really into big discussions, and we just go everywhere. And last night we had Brian D. Bradley on as the guest host, and just went all over the place with some great conversation. So if you like geekery, you like news, you like people who have a conversation that you can be a part of, check me out over at Breaking the Panel. That's giantsizeteamup.com/Breaking the Panel. And you can follow me on @RockOutaPod, and Facebook is Rock Outta Podcasting.
Awesome. Hey, Josh.
Hey, not Charles.
That's the thing now, Dale. Making the thing.
You know, I'm completely okay with being not Charles. What do we got going on?
Next week on the Geek IO Show, Bryce Costello from Night Attack joins us once again, and we make him play our fun and games.
I apologize for Josh's Ohio-ness, and it's Castillo.
And we will make him pay, because Celsiuses are important. Celsiuses?
Solstices?
Celsius?
Celsius. Solstices. Sources are important.
I love our rant and review episodes because we just go completely batshit insane at the ends of them.
At the end of the episode.
Thinking time is over now. Brain shutting down.
Brain needs administrative access.
basically. And
I mean, you're not wrong.
still have Spotify.
Brain.exe has encountered a problem.
Now it's time for the Geek IO Winter Movie Smackdown update.
Nothing happened. Moving on. Oh wait, no, something did happen. Never mind.
Yeah.
So we have exactly 4 weeks left. Ending the run this week, Maze Runner, The Death Cure. Carrie actually made some money off of that one. Entering the second week is Winchester something House Ghost something. Opening this week, Peter Rabbit may actually make me a little bit of money, hopefully. Maybe knocking me out of 6th place, which would be nice. 50 Shades Free, which will have people going to it for some reason. And
It'll further cement Jeff. Jeff owns that too.
It's because they've been indoctrinated.
Yep, basically. At this point, you are right. The greatest. I read Rotten Tomatoes a lot. The greatest review I got on that one was, "This is the greatest. This is shaping up to be one of the greatest comedies of 2018."
Oh my god! Ugh.
So it is crossed from just being bad fan fiction to being bad porn, and now it is just a comedy.
It's bad comedy.
I read a review earlier today that was titled "Beautiful Gowns and Boring Sex."
I mean, that's pretty much 50 Shades. Like I've watched the movie. The first movie. It's so dumb. Like
I still haven't sat and watched it. You watched it without me?
it's so dumb. I saved you time.
Butthole.
I saved you time, wife. Be thankful.
I'm an ungrateful bitch. Don't you know that? How dare you? Rawr.
So first place, Jeff reigning supreme at $29.5 million. Carrie bumping up into second place
Woohoo!
with $24.9 million, knocking Budlong into third with $23.8 million, and nothing has changed for the rest of us.
Because of course.
Because nothing else has made any money this entire fucking.
All right, so can we
Come
do a
on, Black Panther. Come
A
on,
very-
Black Panther.
You spent like $2,000 on that movie.
Right. You're not even kidding. I think you did spend like $36 on that movie.
So if I've learned anything as the reigning summertime champion of the movie
We have to
SmackDown,
have you back on the summer draft
it's
too.
that I will try to do that because I got to return to Dragon Con as a king. Like I
Yeah,
did
and we
last
all, yeah, exactly. Since we do our award ceremony at Dragon Con, I also kind of choose Charles into making sure that we get a decent slot at Dragon Con.
I've learned to trick Raul into spending a lot of money.
Yes.
And to get Dale to bid on a whole bunch of shit, and then find a good sleeper hit of the summer. Yeah.
I paid $7 or whatever for American Sniper back in the day.
Oh, I got Baby Driver for $8, and that's what put the crown on my head.
Yeah, but that wasn't a bad movie.
No, it's a great movie. That's
That's
what
what
I'm
I
saying. Find
mean,
a summer sleeper hit. Sleeper hit.
Yeah, American Sniper wasn't that bad either.
Yeah, I got 5 minutes in and it turned that shit off. I'm saying.
So you made it past the
You
opening
went to
logos?
Yeah.
I'd like to imagine that you went to a movie
I
theater.
saw Bradley Cooper wake up. I'm like, nah, I'm done. I'm good.
You're not Rocket Raccoon here. Leave me alone.
Let's go. But trolling around for summer movies, it's gonna be a big summer.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be a huge summer.
That's
Is
what
something
she
good
said.
to talk about off air. Pew 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 pew. But on the opposite side of things that were on air this week on the Geek IO network, Generic Live Show takes a trip to the locker room and talks about the copyright-free big Generic Live sports game of the week. Wonder what game we're talking about. I wonder.
The hyper litigious sports ballingness of 2018.
Exactly.
Stanley Cup.
The Stanley Cup. There you go. The Generic Live Cup. There you go.
Am I the only one person who heard the Stan Lee Cup? Because that'd be
No,
by
that's
Marvel.
Dragon
and that'd be awesome.
They're litigious too, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Which, glad to hear he's doing better.
Yeah, for now. Poor guy. I don't want him to. It's just an inevitability because circle of life and all that shit.
Yeah.
Like 700 years old too. So.
Who do you think's hanging on to the life gem?
That's fair.
Please don't 2018, please. Please, if you couldn't, just hold out 20 more years. Just don't do this to me this
Sure,
year.
that'll work. So we have show title candidates that ourselves and and
We interrupted it. He's not done with the.
Surprisingly, I haven't done yet. In this week's episode of the Manifold, Valfreya gets lost in books. Manipool. I said Manipool.
Well, I mean, Fraggle was there.
You said
Oh, there's a different fool in the upcoming episodes.
For now, Kai and Amy try to find out about themselves. Fragul swings some shiny swords around. Calabras finally finds a very special person after following some bright lights.
Calabras made a friend.
Valfreya totally didn't get lost in the book. She knew exactly where she was. Everyone else that had trouble finding her.
I'm just reading what's in front of me. Small screen spoiler show. CJ and Jazz talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Black Lightning, and they finally finished The Punisher.
Thank you.
So 2017.
Was that a punishing segment?
It was.
Oh, yeah. CJ thought it was
good until the end. And even then, good is a very big compliment that probably doesn't deserve.
Uh-oh, Charles is pointing at the camera. Oh, no.
Am I getting called out? Bring it on. That show sucked.
I hate you so much.
It was better than Iron Fist, but that's just saying, that's better than sticking my hand in poo water.
So you're saying the enjoyment was in another castle?
Yes.
Yes.
Now I'm just waiting for him to turn into Frankencastle, and then it'll be enjoyable. Well,
That's season 2.
That's a thing, actually. That's a thing.
What was also a thing, CJ drinks to the new beginnings of Dark Souls 3 on the PC on Liquid Handicap.
Yeah, hopefully my controller will work next time, because playing with keyboard and mouse on Dark Souls is real weird.
Just do a Guitar Hero controller.
Yeah, that'll work. I'm that good at those games.
Alrighty.
Okay, now we have show title candidates that we and the chat put into our showbot at geekioshow.showbot.tv. And now is the time, and throughout the show you can also do that, and we call them out and vote on them for tonight's show title. Carrie, if you would please.
So we have That's All I Have. There's always a bad 3 a.m. story no matter where I go. 500 Fs in the first scene. Some real bright moments. Bright. Get hit with gritty hammer. Make orcs great again. I'm not adding that to the show titles. Let's talk Luke Gage for 2 hours. Dale sings things. We have show notes. 3 wolves at any given time. Shit poodle. Orc CIS. This is a Tide ad. This is not a movie. This is a Tide ad. This movie has a lot of problems. This problem had a lot of movies in it. Fuck this movie, which the purest cinnamon orc roll there ever was. Still not Sausage Party. Dale, make that a thing. And CJ, check the stream.
What? What is... Okay.
Yes, I know Jessica Jones 2 in a month. Yes, that is something I'm super stoked for.
It was hard to add show titles this episode because we all kept saying fuck so much.
Right, I can't make just call the episode that.
Fuck Palooza.
Fuck Palooza. I'm giving it an honorable mention though for Shit Poodle.
Shit Poodle, but I think better
I
yet
love
is
the cinnamon roll.
I vote for This Problem Had a Lot of Movies in it.
Yes. This problem had a lot of movies in it. Oh no.
Also, something Dale. We didn't have anything with Dale in the show title.
Dale
make
this a thing.
Dale, make that a thing.
Oh,
Dale
also-
sings things.
Sure. Dale
And Dale sings things.
Yeah, whatever.
We didn't have negative Dale plus something equals spandex. That's what CJ's going on about.
Exactly. There's no Dale mathematical equations involved here. That's what I'm
Negative Dale. Negative Dale.
Dale.
Since when is Dale math the trope? I thought it was just show titles with his name in it.
Nope, new trope.
New trope.
So you're saying that in order to qualify, we need some Dale-gebra?
Yes. Exactly. Oh man, thanks so much for coming out, hanging out with us, Charles. Thank you so much. It's always a blast having you on, man.
It's
Thanks,
always
man. I appreciate
great.
Yay.
For the rest of us, we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, my name is Water Buffalo, and I hope you've enjoyed this Geek I Media Network production. Copyright 2018, you see how that works?
Yeah.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.